Hello, everybody. It's Alex here again. We are back with another video. So tonight's video is a little different than what I initially had planned because of something. Um, I had a different thing planned for this video, and I was gonna go a different route with this video. I didn't want to do this video, but this is something. Tonight's topic, as you can probably tell from the title, has something that's not only impacted me personally, but I have talked to some other people recently that have been going through the same thing. I've done this video once before, like a long time ago. So we're going to talk about how to deal with haters, bullies, and even people that make death threats on Facebook and stuff. But before we get into all that, I do have to do the sponsored part of this video because obviously, not gonna lie, this is what I do for a living. So the sponsored part of this video is there's two parts to it. One, if you haven't checked out Patreon, I would definitely suggest checking that out very soon because we do have a drawing going on. Just being subscribed is your first free entry. And if you are a Patreon member, you actually get an additional entry. So that's until February 10th. That's when we're going to be doing the giveaways. There's actually been some more stuff added to the giveaway, so we're going to be doing a little bit more. So, hey, if we keep going, we might have a lot more stuff. That's that part of the sponsored video. Now, this next part's not. I call it sponsored, but it's not really sponsored. I just want to give a shout out to an awesome company, and that would be Little for Bigs. They're not sponsoring this video, but anytime I get a new product that I like, I'm gonna put it in one of my videos so that way you guys know. And they make these really cute and adorable adult baby bibs, and I'm going to attempt to put one on, but with limited disability, plus I'm wearing my fursuit head, it may not work. But as you can see, I really like them. They're not. It's not going on right now because my head's in the way.
Such a baby.
But I like them. We got a one with a giraffe on it, zebras, like zoo animals, and then the other one here has cherries on it. So I definitely recommend checking out Little for Bigs because their bibs are awesome. I love the way they feel, and they actually take me back to when I was a child. The next product, which is the last one, I promise. I know you guys are probably not wanting to see this stuff. I have never personally owned one of these myself. I'm not a big person on using this type of product, but I have to talk about this one because kind of like the bibs, it took me back to my childhood and some of the things that were similar. So that would be this. I think it's from the same place. It's a Safari baby bottle, but it's glass. It's not plastic. Now, will I use this? I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm never going to use it. I just never been one for bottles. I like sippy cups better. But, I say that, but then again, here I am drinking out of a bottle, technically.
Why didn't you put that liquid in that bottle and give it a shot?
No. Maybe in another video. If this video gets 5,
likes.
How many?
10.
So if this video gets 10 likes, the next video I do, I will put some of my flavored water here in a bottle and drink it on video. But anyways, let's get back to the topic of this video, which is dealing with haters and death threats and all this stuff. So last night I actually had someone give a death threat, which for me, I get a lot of death threats because of how open I am here on YouTube. So to me, it's not a big deal to get those. I just kind of ignore the death threats because there are a lot of idle threats, and a lot of times it's followed by, "Oh, you're a pedophile. You're this. You're that. You're this. You're that." And stop bumping my nose.
Someone told me to.
Oh. But anyways, I deal with those death threats like this. If you threaten my life or someone else's, I will turn it into the to law enforcement, which you're supposed to do. I take that very seriously. But when someone calls me a pedophile just because I'm a baby fur, it hurts. I'm not going to lie, it does, because that's not what we are. There's no, I mean, those, a baby fur and a pedophile are polar opposites. Like a baby fur would probably be a pedophile for hurting a child because, we are a child. So in our eyes, they're hurting us, even though they're technically hurting a child, actual child, but still, long drawn out thing there. But that's not the point of this video. So here's how I deal with them. First of all, don't let them get to you because their information 9 times out of 10 is based off ignorance, which is uneducated. So, which means they're uneducated. So they're not educated on what being a baby fur, adult baby, ABDL, diaper lover, diaper fur. They don't know what we are. Everybody I've ever talked to, that the first thing they want to say is, "Oh, you're a pedophile." When I actually talk to these people, I find out very quickly they're ignorant and they don't know what we are. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean it as a derogatory term. That's the term I use to explain when they don't know something. I know ignorance is something a lot of people think is a derogatory term, but it really isn't. But when I explain what we truly are and educate them, they're like, "Oh, well, this is nothing like what I thought it was." Then it really helps out. So when someone calls you a pedophile, or if they're making death threats, or saying you're a bad person, or they're just genuinely hating on you for being who you are, the best thing to do is just ignore them and walk away. And I know at times it's hard, but these people are trying to get a rile out of you. They're trying to get you to say something or do something that's going to make you look bad. And if you just completely ignore them and don't let what they're saying bother you, then you will win ultimately in this, because you're proving that what they're saying is completely wrong. So let's just not even talk about the baby first stuff, because this actually applies to a lot of regular, just furry drama that I've seen over the years. I get a lot of friend requests on Facebook every day. Some of it's for baby fur, some of them are from regular people who see I have a fursuit, or they see something, they seen I was at a con with somebody that they idolize, or someone they know, something like that. I'll get a lot of friend requests. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't just accept every friend request, because back when I used to do that, I ended up getting a lot of people that would hate on me for what I post. So by not doing that and kind of doing my research on people before I, let them in, helps out a lot. And the first thing I look for is, how does this person post about other people when they have problems? Like today, if you follow me on Facebook, you would, or if you're on my Facebook or you follow me, you'll see that I had someone that messaged me "F you" and had 2 middle fingers. My response to this video, when I read it, I started laughing. I responds to here's how I responded to the person, and I actually posted it on my Facebook. I'm not going to share it here because I don't want anybody actually attacking this person. Because when I posted the thing on my Facebook, I actually should have blocked the person's name. I didn't, but I actually asked people not to attack this person because I thought this was funny. My post about it was not to attack this person. It was to show people that my response was, I'm laughing at this person. And I ended up blocking the person because it just wasn't worth fighting with them over it. But they messaged me "F you" with 2 middle fingers up. I don't know this person, never talked to them. So I don't know if I did them wrong. And if I did, all they had to do is message me and, "Hey, you did me wrong. Let's talk it. Let's talk about it and see if we can make amends, whatever." And, take care of it like an adults. I personally will always try to work things out with people. I've been at cons where people say they hate baby furs. I can't believe a baby fur event is allowed here because it's pedophilia, blah, 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 blah. And I'll talk to these people. I walk up and, hey, I'm a baby fur. I just want to talk to you for a second. Let me explain our side of it. And 9 times out of 10, if that person is not some crazed psycho, they will sit there and listen to you, and they'll listen out. And I have friends that they don't like baby furs, but they don't hold it against the baby furs. They just don't like the things we are. To them, it's just not their thing. But just because they don't like us, like they said, they're not going to hinder us. They're not going to do anything to us. They're still friends with me, and they're still friends with several other baby furs. It's just they don't really care for what we're into. They don't want to see it, which that's fine. I agree. If you don't want to see it, you shouldn't have to. Um, so for me, it's like I'd rather try to deal with this as an adult. Well, when this person said "f you" with two middle fingers, just thing, emojis or whatever, my response was, "Well, hello to you too." And then I blocked the person shortly after. I gave it time for them to respond. They never respond, and I just blocked the person because, in general, if they're going to send a message like that, they're not really worth you know they're not worth your time, because anybody that's just going to be downright rude to someone when you haven't done nothing to them, in, intentionally done anything. There's times we do hurt people's feelings, or we'll do something that bothers somebody unintentionally, but there's ways to deal with that. It's like, talk to me, talk to you. If I have a problem with someone, like say Frisky over here, instead of making a beware post saying, "Oh, he's just a douchebag, you don't want to talk to him," you know, kind of thing, I would say, "Hey, Frisky, I got a problem with you. Can we talk it out?" That's the best way to deal with a lot of issues with someone, whether you be the hater or the one getting hated on. Try to talk it out. Not every time are you going to be able to work things out. You can try, but it don't always work out. Sometimes people have they have this thing that where they just don't let things go. And I say this from experience. There's some things that will eat at me, and the biggest one is anybody that impersonates. Like that, I have a hard time letting stuff like that go, because it's not fair to the people that are being impersonated, you know, such as law enforcement, fire, EMS, military, anything in general. I don't like impersonators, and that's my issue. That's not someone else's issue. That's mine. I got to work on that. And you know, I understand I have that issue. So when I deal with the person that's impersonating, I try to stay away from that person now, because I know I have trouble keeping my muzzle shut. So I stay away from that. So death threats, if you're getting threatened, like even if it's not a death threat, if they're just physically threatening you with harm, and this goes for everything. I don't care if it's because you're gay, trans, uh, baby fur, furry, leather pup, anything. If someone is threatening violence of any sort with you, always make sure you're safe. Always make sure you're safe. And if it's something you feel is credible to where you feel for your life, I definitely recommend getting it with your local law enforcement. Because, like, for me personally, I've said this before. I very rarely travel anywhere without some kind of protection, if you know what I mean. And it's because there's people in this world that will hurt you and not think about twice about it, and that's not cool. So always, if you feel like your life is threatened, make sure you get a hold of law enforcement. That's what they're here for. Let them do their job. Don't take law enforcement into your own hands. That's never a good idea. I actually knew a person who wanted to pretend like they were a cop and try to do something that, wasn't quite really a smart decision on their point, because they wanted to stop this person from doing what they were doing, which honestly, what the person was doing was bad, and it could have caused some people to get hurt. But in the circumstance, the person who was trying to stop said person did something even more dangerous, and they ended up getting shot at. And all because they wanted to take the law in their own hands. So I recommend never doing that because, yeah, um, things can get really things can get dangerous very quickly. So always, if you feel like your life is threatened, make sure you get with your local law enforcement. You know, and just say, hey, this person's saying they're going to come to my house and stab me, or this person's threatened to beat me up. And they can help you get to where you need. Now, if someone in we'll say if there's a furry that's in Arizona and you live in New York, and this furry says they're going to drive to your house and beat you up, I'm sorry, they're a keyboard warrior. They're not going to drive 1,000 miles to come beat you up. And if you're at a con and someone is threatening you, there is con security. Most cons have law enforcement on site. There is all kinds of different people that can help you out. And my advice is, if you feel threatened, and you can't see someone that's staff, walk to another group of furries or another group of people, even if they're not furries, and say, hey, I feel like I'm in some kind of a trouble. Kind of let them know. I've been at cons where people were doing things they weren't supposed to, that were being very sketchy, I guess. And as much as I like to stay in character and not take my head off or any of my fursuit off during a con when I'm out in with everybody, like there's been cons I've taken my head off, and the cute Alex is gone and the serious person that's under the suit is there. I handle stuff like this very seriously. So if you're at a con and someone's making threats, or you feel like you're in danger, make sure you get with security. I always say go to security at a con first, unless it's like something you don't feel security, you have to go to law enforcement, because security can handle most situations like that, and then they have they have procedures. I never want to step on like con security's toes, because there's a few cons I work for. I'm not saying what departments I work for in some of these other cons, but I know the stress and everything that goes on everybody that works these cons, and know that when stuff like this happens, they like to know about it so they can handle it, and they have a better chance of getting law enforcement there quicker than calling a dispatcher. Hey, so here we'll use this as an example. So say I'm at a con and I'm in suit, and someone's threatening to beat me. Instead of running to security, who can say, hey, I'm here with this individual, because security wears those vests and all that. It's like, so I'm calling 911. Yeah, I'm the German Shepherd that's at this con having this issue. Okay. Yeah, I need an officer. So officer gets there. They're looking for a German Shepherd at a furry convention where there's hundreds of us. Now, I know there's some suits that are more unique. There's people that go to these cons that aren't in suit at all. And if they're not in suit at all, yeah, I'm this person hanging out with this person in a dog suit, or I'm this person hanging out with somebody in a Dutch Angel dragon suit. That 911 dispatcher and that officer are going to be like, what? So if you're at a con, always try to get hotel security to help you out. So it doesn't matter if you are a furry. It doesn't matter if you are trans. It doesn't matter if you're gay. It doesn't matter if anything. If you feel threatened, get help. And if you have people just hating on you, they're sending you hate messages. We'll say this person, they don't believe trans people have human rights, which they should have human rights, but they don't believe it. They're being transphobic, but here's two things that are going on during that. One, they're trying to get you to do something stupid and hit them. Don't ever do that. Don't ever throw the first punch. Because if you throw that first punch, you are the aggressor. Laws are not written the best, in my opinion, but there's no right and wrong way to write a law. And then the other thing they're trying to do when they say, I want to get back on track, because I have tendency to get off track. The other thing they're trying to do, definitely if you're a trans person and they're saying these slurs to you, they're trying to get a rile out of you and trying to get you to hit them first. The other thing they're doing, and they're succeeding in, is that they're getting under your skin. They're getting to you. But when you completely ignore them and just completely ignore them and act like it doesn't bother you, that bothers them more than you walking up and punching them in the face. It bothers them more than anything. Now, if they are being an aggressor, like trying to come and hurt you physically, like mental hurt is still just as bad as physical. I will agree with that. I know that's like the argument a lot of people use, but there's a time for it and a place. And if someone's just using words, it's best to walk off and ignore them, because in the end of the day, you're going home to someone that loves you, or you're going to be the person that is not in the news media for beating a person up, even though they were being an asshole, but you went to jail because you beat the crap out of them. It's not really a good thing. I always like the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me." But that's not always true. Words do hurt. And normally it's just best to get out of those situations. So try to de escalate it any way you can. Now, well, let's say you're a gay person, because, I don't always like to pick on the trans people. I mean, um, it's not fair. They get picked on so much that a lot of these people just want to be who they are and just be left alone and be so where they can live a normal life. And they deserve that. But let's pick on the gay community. And a lot of you know me as Alex. I am a dude under the suit. Both my characters, Alex and Ali, are female. I am not transgender outside of suit. I know a lot of people assume that. I'm not. I do support it. I do. But my characters are females because I've always liked the feminine. And there was a time I always wished I could be a girl, but I don't truly believe that I'm a female trapped in a male's body, or how I still don't know how it all works. But for me, I don't have that. My characters being female are solely because I wanted them to be female. Um, just because it's something I wasn't, and sorry, I just like them that way. They're cute that way, in my opinion. Whereas Alex as a boy and Ali as a boy just didn't work for me. But let's pick on the gays a little bit because I'm gay, so I can pick on us. If there's a derogatory term that is used a lot, and it's called fag. I hate this word so much that it infuriates me when people use it. But when someone calls me a fag and they're trying to use in a derogatory term, like I play a lot of online video games with my headset and stuff. So what do? Okay, there's a lot of things I can do. But when someone calls me a fag on a game or in person, I look at them and say, "Yep, I'm number one." Even though I'm on the inside, I'm burning up and I just want to beat this person, I don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my effort. And it's certainly not worth going to jail. So I turn the tables on them. I make it as, okay, this is supposed to be a derogatory term. It don't bother me. There's far worse things you can say that would be better. I don't say that to them, but I'm sitting here thinking that it's like, okay, and then just keep on going. I've told people that, I'm gay, so if fag's supposed to be a derogatory term, you're using it on the wrong person. That stuff that hurts them when they see that it's not getting to you, it's not getting under your skin. That hurts them so much more than getting all pissy with them and getting in a yelling match and making a big old scene, because that's what they want. They want it to look like you're the bad person when you're not. So let's not feed into them. Yeah, I don't know. Where do guns come in this? So I never said guns when I said protection. Sometimes I carry mace. Sometimes I carry a taser. Depending on state regulations and laws, I may carry a gun. I mean, we can talk about guns, but it's not. Guns are okay. Everybody thinks guns solves every problem. So yes and no. But when I go places, I don't always carry a gun for protection. There's mace, there's pepper spray. I think those two. There's a difference between those two. Some, I'll tell you right now. You ever have to go through mace training? I'll tell you right now. If they ask you if you want to be sprayed, say hell no. I would rather be tased, even with my heart problems, which is not good. I would be tased before I ever get mazed again. And just saying. Um, but here's my thing when it comes to guns. If you have the proper training and know when the right time is to use one, then I would say carry one. But make sure you have that training. I have went through training after training after training, and I will tell you right now, if you've never had a gun pulled on you, or if you've never had to pull a gun on someone, you don't know how you're going to react in that situation. So I recommend get as much training as possible before you start carrying a gun. Just saying. I've watched these videos online where people pull their guns, and I'm like, that person should not have pulled their gun yet, because at this situation, no one is being, there's no harm, physical harm being done. It's just, he's blah, 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 just bullshit talk. There's no threats yet. So there's no reason to pull a gun. If you're ever carrying a gun for self defense, don't ever pull that gun unless you truly feel your life is threatened, for one. And don't ever pull that gun if you don't intend to use it. And the reason I say this is actually an incident that happened with me back in Southern Illinois when I lived there. I was dating this young girl. Her ex was jealous. He pulled a gun on me. He never intended to use the gun. He was using it to try to, as a scare tactic. So, I was at this point, I was going through some training. I'm not going to discuss what type of training and what it was for. That's, because that's private. But I was going through some training, and this person made the mistake of pulling a gun on me. Well, before it was done, I ended up with the gun pointed right at his head, and I actually pulled the trigger, which the gun was empty. And I told the guy he was a stupid piece of crap. And the reason I'm telling you this is because this guy pulled a gun on me with the never having the intention of using it. But once my life was threatened, I had every intention of not only saving my life, but the people around me's life. And I did not hesitate to pull the trigger. I didn't even think about it. So I almost shot someone because they put my life in danger as well as others. And when I reported this to the police, they said I did one thing right. I had no hesitation to pull that trigger, because they said when someone points a gun at you, they are either doing it out of one of two things. They're pointing that gun at you because they plan to kill you, or they're using it as a device to scare you to get what they want. You don't point a gun at someone without one of those two reasons. You're either going to kill that person, or you're going to use it as a scare tactic. Do not fall for that shit. Don't ever feel, if someone's pointing a gun at you, don't ever feel that it's just a scare tactic. Always feel that your life is in your danger, and do what you got to do to get away from that person. Because you can sit there and cower and hope they don't kill you, but it's a 50-50 chance. And I'm sorry, when it comes to my life, I won't gamble it. That's my personal opinion, guys. So, I'm not reading all the chats, guys, so I may miss some of them. So I do say apologize for that. But honestly, I recommend everybody get some kind of self-defense class. I'm not saying go get a CCW or carry a gun, but there's mace, there's hand-on-hand combat training. There's all kinds of self-defense classes. But make sure when you take these classes, you learn the laws that go with them for your state, because every state's different. My state may say, well, as long as you felt your life is threatened and you pulled that trigger, you're protected under this. Well, whereas another state will say, well, you don't have that right here. What is it, Texas, that if someone comes on your property without permission, you can shoot them? Dalton? Risky. He's ignoring me. But anyways, there's one state where I forget which one it is, or it used to be. If someone came on your property and they didn't know who you were, they were actually have the right to shoot you. That is what I'm talking about. Know your state laws, know your training, and always use your training. Do not ever do something stupid. So, how does an autistic like myself defend myself? Um, so, Trevor, I'm autistic to a certain degree. I'm not. I'm borderline functioning, is what they call it. So I know what you're asking there. I just don't know how to answer that question properly. But in your circumstance, depending on how you're being threatened, if you're being threatened with violence, I would definitely say take it to law enforcement. If it's something credible, like you feel like you're in danger. But overall, most of these are idle threats because like the person who said "f you" to me, they were just for some reason they hate me. I don't know what I did to them. If I could find out, I would, but honestly, I don't care because I don't know the person, and it's like, I don't know what I did to them, so I'm not going to sit there and fight it. Now, whereas we'll say Joe Blow 20 miles down the road says they're coming to my house and they're going to bring their friends and they're going to beat me, that's a little bit more believable. Then I would start calling the law and say, hey, I got this person making threats. They're going to come to my house, do this. What do I need to do? Or, you know, I always try not to bother officers a lot. So for me, it's like, I'll wait. If someone makes a threat that of coming to my house and I think it's a possibility they might show up, which not very many people know where I live because I don't give that. Um, I would go down to the PD, say, "Hey, you got an officer available? I need to ask him a few questions," and then I would just tell them what's going on, see what they would suggest I do. I wouldn't call them and say, "Hey, I need them to call me right now or come visit me right now," because sometimes they're busy and it depends on the circumstance. But if you ever feel like you're being threatened, um, you can contact me on Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and I will help you out any way I can. Um, But if you feel like your life is threatened, don't hesitate. Protect yourself. I'm not saying attack the person. I'm saying get a hold of someone to help you. Now, yeah. Let's see. What else can we talk about here before I let you guys go? Make sure you guys stay safe. We're on. I know this video is longer than I normally make, and it's kind of been rambling and me kind of complaining about some things. But bullying. How do you deal with bullying? The best way to deal with a bully is don't let them bother you. If they're calling you names and saying you're a basic fur, you're a baby fur piece of shit, pedophile, fag, transgender, whatever, don't let these people bother you because that's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to bully you into doing something stupid and making you look bad. I get at least 30 messages a day since I've started this YouTube channel from people that they find my YouTube channel by accident or they find it because of this or that. They see I'm a very open baby fur. They see that I am who I am and I don't hide it. And these people will try. They send me, I'm gonna run your name in the fandom. I'm gonna get you banned from this con. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I normally these people, I just respond with them something like the person that said "f you." I responded with, "Well, hello to you too," and then I wait, and if they, try to figure out if it's just some random person joking. But if it's not, and they're just being a dickhead or an asshole, whatever you want to call them, then I just block them and ignore them because they're just not worth your time or my time. They're just trying to get a rile out of you. And no matter what you say to them or do to them, they're going to spin it around and then all their little white knights are going to come after you. It's just better if let them say whatever they're going to say, block them, delete the conversation. Don't even read the conversation after you see what they're being basically a dickhead or a bully. just delete the conversation, ignore them, block them, because they're not worth it. All they're trying to do is get a rile out of you, and they're not worth it at all. Guys, I love you all. It's been a 35-minute video. I need to get off here. I got some other things I'm supposed to be taking care of. I haven't got started yet. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. And we hit the 10 likes. So next video, I guess I will be putting something in the new bottle and actually drinking out of it. Yeah.
You were doing it anyway because you're such a baby.
We should have said 20 likes. But
too bad. It's already done.
Also, don't forget, we're doing a giveaway on February 10th. We're giving away some coloring books, as well as we also have another thing that's getting added to that giveaway, but I can't say what it is yet. You have seen it in a past video, but I can't say how long ago the video was. But we're doing another giveaway on the February 10th. We're doing a giveaway, and if we hit 30 Patreon subscribers by February 10th, we're also going to be doing a kind of a giveaway. We're going to pick one of you random people to make a video suggestion, and whatever this video is, it's already been everything from me eating pizza with anchovies on it, to eating vegetables, which are gross, to me doing a dance and singing. There's been all kinds of suggestions that are coming through. It's like,
oh God,
yeah, I know.
Dancing and singing.
I know, right? That's scary. But if we hit 30 Patreon members by the 10th, I will be doing that as well. So don't forget to check out my Patreon, which is Alex Radioactive. I'm also on Telegram and Twitter. Both of them are at Alex_Radioactive. But when you spell radioactive, don't put the last E on there. I'm on Facebook as Alex Furry. And with that being said, guys, have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys next video. I love you all. Stay safe, and don't let people get you down. It's not worth it, because you're awesome, and I believe you can do whatever it is you want to do.